People were asking, how does VS Code work? How to use it? It looks complicated. Well, VS Code is just a text editor plus a file manager, and that also can do source control, and it has a bunch of extensions that makes it powerful. Basically, that's it. So for the text editor part, you can just type something into VS Code. It's just like a notepad or text edit. It's the same. And the convenience is you have tabs. So you can do Control Tab to move around them. You can also do Command P or Control P on Windows, and you type the name into the prompt to quickly open something. You can toggle the sidebar using Command B. But you can use VS Code as a file manager, which means I can just do, say, I can just do right click and add a new folder. And if I right click on the folder and sorry, that's not, and add a new file, and I indicate the file extension, it will create a file for me. Notice that this is not tracked or complained by Git. This is because I set up this .git ignore file, which tells Git to ignore stuff. And asteroid means anything, okay? It's a pattern matching. So I told Git to just ignore anything in this repository. And the exclamation mark means not. So it will not ignore anything that in the first level of the directory, basically these two that ends with .md, and it will also not ignore this folder and whatever thing, png here, the file itself, or this folder, the proposal folder, which we just added. If I wanted to not ignore this folder, just need to add this. Okay. Now it says it's untracked, so Git now recognize its existence. So what is VS Code? It's just a text editor. What makes it powerful? File managing. Also, source control, shortcut. Actually, you can also use the command line to do this, and the extension. So now let's see what extensions do. I have this instruction to VS Code has this built-in Markdown file preview. Markdown file is a plain text file with everything is Unicode and there's no text size, color or stuff. But if you do preview, you can see their color and links and font size, indentation, bullet points, stuff. So I said click on extensions, which is here. It says extensions, and you should type Markdown, and it would give you Markdown all-in-one, Markdown Preview enhance, which I disable to demo the last part without any extensions. So if I enable them and here, if I press enter, you can see that it gives me this bullet point. And there are other things that's Markdown all-in-one. Notice here it changed to Markdown Preview Enhanced. So if I do this instead, I get something like that. The reason to do this is not because it looks nicer. Of course, you can make it look nicer because you can choose preview theme. No, I can make it dark theme. But you can do stuff with it, like it renders math with Kartek, and you can make PDF. I can recommend this option just by right-clicking, and you can open the HTML in the browser. Opening now. Okay. So this is Markdown Preview Enhanced. And also I want to talk about the split window. So instead of auto splitting window, you can split the window yourself. Here's a split button. It splits left, right. So you have two windows like this, and they're independent, which means you can look at something, for example, from line 1 here, and then you go and add it, I don't know, line 37. So you can know what you wrote before when you're writing whatever you're writing next. So there's split window. See what you wrote before. Some extensions that I also recommended, like I also said install code spell checker. So basically, if I type anything now, VS Code would not complain. You can do that by installing this code spell checker. Okay, it will check code spell. It's not code spell, it's any spell. So it will say it's unknown word. If you type some word that the code spell checker doesn't know, but it actually is a word, and you want it to not complain, you can just ignore the complaints, although it will also show here. You can just, let's say here, I want code spell checker to not complain about this. I can just put it here, wait a second, this will pop up, and you do quick fix, and you add it to workspace settings, which means this folder. Inside this folder, it will ignore this name. Or you can add it to user settings, which is any file you open on this user will ignore this word. So I would just recommend adding this to workspace settings. But there are also shortcuts. So if you put your cursor here, notice it's blinking, and you do this command, period, and you can just do it like this. Okay. And these things are actually added in the .vscode folder. Let's say I just recorded all of them. Actually, this is not necessary, but just for demonstration. notice here the settings.json file is getting orange. And there's this C spell words. Okay. It will ignore these words. So now other things. So there are other recommended Git History, Git length. So basically, if you open a file, you don't know what happened to it, right? And if you use Git History and Git length, you have a lot of options. So notice here you have a bunch of these buttons, and you can view file history, whatever. And also you can see this annotation here. When your cursor is on the line, you can see this. How long ago is this line typed, committed, recorded with Git? If I go here, it also shows the author, and 2 days ago, something. Okay, that's the Git extensions. And this part, actually, I regret saying so. So this part I want to delete them, because GitLab workflow doesn't do anything for us. We are not on GitLab. We are on gitlab.oit.duke, so it doesn't work. It cannot communicate with the server. And the last thing is the AI type assistance. It's called tab9. So it will, for example, if you do something like you type words, and it will give you suggestions, and if you hit tab, it will auto-complete. However, in the default setting of VS Code, if you hit enter, it will also get this. So to disable that, you need to go to the settings, which you can do by command comma on Mac OS, but I don't remember how to get it on Windows. So you can always get here and settings, and you can search any settings. So suggestions, and enter. Okay, so you can see that accept suggestions or an enter. This is set to on by default, and is set to off by me. Okay. And there's another thing that is it can be annoying to have this. So if you press escape, oh, doesn't work. Okay, I guess this changed. You can add a shortcut to hide. Basically, you can just click somewhere else and click back, and the suggestion will be gone. If you feel it's blocking something, you can add a shortcut. So the way you edit shortcuts is you first open the command palette, which is Command Shift P or Control Shift P, and you can just type whatever. This is basically just Command P and then a greater sign, and you can type in keyboard. See, no, this is reference. Preferences, open keyboard shortcuts. and you can see you have a whole bunch of shortcuts, and you can guess type suggestion. So you can have show suggestion or something like that, but you can also do hide. Oops. So what is? Let's do hide suggest. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing to do. Yeah, hide suggest widget. So I actually searched for it. You can add a key binding to it by clicking this edit button. And I use the command Y because that's one of the keys that's not used. For example, command U is used. Command H is used. Whatever. Yeah. So that's most of the benefits. Autocomplete. It's built in, and it's also tab 9. Actually, if you really want, you can do Grammarly. Okay. And the way I use it is I went to the settings and auto activate. I set it to false. Okay. So it will not activate by default. By default, it will give you an edit here. Like you can click on it to enable grammar. So if I do this, it will check. It's slow now. Yeah. It's telling me that I should use comma. Okay, it's stupid. I want to hide this. If you want it to be gone, you can just reload window. Okay, reload window. If you hide the widget and you still want to use grammar, you can just add a command. You can just use this. It will be the same as clicking there. Other extensions, actually I use a lot of extensions. I recommend, but not for, these extensions are not for really for our work. We don't need them. We can have let's see, prettier. But yeah, the other things are not that important. Also, you can actually, I found it a little bit cool to be able to see pictures inside of this editor. Okay, so we did a little demo. Now we made all these changes, and we need to push it back to the server. First, what you should do before you commit and then push, is you should click on every single file and see the changes. As you can see, we added stuff, we deleted stuff. So you can see that this bar minimap here. Okay, one more thing. You can toggle the minimap using a command. So if you toggle it, it will become something like this. Okay, if you do this, it doesn't show. But if you are in can see this minimap is also a scroller, although if I close it, it is still a scroller, but it doesn't show any text in this minimap anymore. So you always want to check what you changed according to these. If it's red, you delete stuff. It's green, you added stuff. Like this part, we added stuff. And because this comma changed, we deleted stuff. Things. And this is just added stuff. I should actually include some of the things we did. Now I guess I can commit. Commit, you need to click add to stage the changes. You can just click the add here to stage all the changes. And they become staged changes, and they will be recorded by Git. And you want to type the message. Okay, and you commit. And then it will be shown here in a commit session. So basically, here. You can see all the history. So last time it was edit proposal English version. Okay. And now you need to sync the changes, push it back to the GitLab repository. And that's most of the development cycle. There could be a slight chance that, say, I am editing this same file and someone else is editing this same file, and we both push to GitLab. The first to push will push successfully, and the second person will get a merge error because you are editing the same file. What do you want the Git to do? And it will prompt you to sort out the merge conflict. So for example, if I create this problem manually, change here. This is not recommended, by the way. Bruce asked me, why don't we just use GitLab, the web interface, to edit all the files? You can, it's fine. But if your network is down or your browser crashed or whatever, it's gone. And if you added something locally, it is there. You will not lose it on your hard drive. So if I do edit here, commit message, I want to say it's change from web app, and I commit the changes directly. So actually we are behind the repo. So if I do recommended settings, add a shortcut for hide, suggest something. Okay, and I also do a commit. And I do sync changes. Okay. You can see that it shows that there are merge conflicts. So I am merging the changes from my local with the changes I made on GitLab, okay? And we have conflicts because we edited the same file, and we need to resolve the conflict. And VS Code gives us this nice thing shown here, okay? And it shows us that, it shows us that from head, which is us, we have this, okay? And from the repo, we have this. And we need to merge them. So how do we do that? There are shortcuts. Accept current changes, which is just delete this part and keep my things, okay? And accept incoming changes, we just do it as what we done on the cloud, on the repo. And accept both changes, and it will try to merge them and compare changes. So we can see that this is what we did, and this is cloud, okay? So now we need to actually merge. What we can also do is we can edit it manually, okay? If I do delete this, and we can do something like that. And if we want it to be something like this, we can also do that. But what I think I want is like accept those changes. It's pretty smart actually, and it merged, as you can see, merged them nicely. And then you need to submit this merge, okay? And it wrote something for you already. And okay. So you still need to stage the merged changes, and you can commit them now and sync the changes. So now you can see that it looks a bit weird from the commit side. So first I added this. This was before everything went complicated, and from the origin, which is from the repo, we had this. This was before we did it locally, and then we changed from, this is this, and then we changed from local, which is something like this, and then we merge them, okay? These are the same branch, but we merged a conflict, and I guess that's the worst case scenario we'll meet. So if you look at here, and merge branch, so you can see the commit here, and if I do commit, you see the same thing on GitLab as you see locally. Actually, it's just a different interface, and it's much slower. So I always recommend you to work on any text things locally if you can. Okay, I guess that's it. A pretty complete VS Code introduction for us, for our purpose. it's actually, I find it nicer to write with VS Code than Word, because no auto correct. Actually, that's what makes it powerful. One of the things. Okay, and it can recognize camel case, which, and these are plain files. The most important thing, I think, is autosave. So if I press and enter here, and I go to, say, another place, if I come back, it's saved. Okay. And the nice and easy source control, this is easy. If you say that this is difficult, I will suggest you try the command line. Okay. It's also easy, but not as easy as this, and it's not that you cannot see what you're doing with without adding another command. So that's all what I want to say. Notice Markdown Preview Enhance automatically give you separated lines if you type a new line here, like literally a new line. It will give you a new line, which is not general Markdown behavior, and you will not expect this if you are using empty book or Hugo. So you need to go to the settings and change this. You see that it has this explanation that new line character doesn't cause a line break in Markdown, but it does here. So if you untick this, it will treat a new line as the same as any white space, like tab or space. So here we have this space between them. If we want a new line, we can do a backslash. Backslash is basically an escape character, and it's escaping this new line character here. I recommend everyone do this. So when you write a very long sentence, you can separate it into different lines, and it will be rendered in a same line. This is good because if you have a very long line, Git will treat it as one element, and if you added anything in that line, it will show that this line is replaced, and it's very difficult to see what is replaced exactly. So this is helpful.